We get it. We know you had a tiny part in Captain America. Okay. Every fucking Instagram video you do, you don't have to wear a Captain America shirt. We get it. We saw the movie. You sucked. Yes, I did see it. Now, several things to note. Of course, looks like the fight is still on because I wasn't sure. I was, UFC hadn't reached out for a while. I didn't honestly know what was going on. So that's good. George is still on board with the fight, as am I, very much so. If I sit down with somebody and we shake hands and we have a press conference, we have a deal. The deal is that we're going to fight. He says he can't fight until after October, which, initially is kind of distressing. But the reality is that my knee isn't healing very well. And whilst I'm out here in England, I'm not getting rehab and all that type of stuff. So that actually is a blessing in disguise for me, because if the fight was going to be in July, we spoke about this before in here, if it was going to be July, I probably couldn't have done it. So I'm not sure why George wants to fight until later in the year, but for me, it actually helps out. Does it? Is it frustrating for the UFC? I can understand that. For the fans, yes. Does it piss Yoel Romero off loads? Yes, so that's good. And, obviously that's not my concern. So, yeah, for me, listen, October, November, whatever. Fuck it, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, he the exact quote, I guess, was, let me actually pull it up right here. He said something along the lines of, right here. All right, got it. Sorry. Mr. Bisping, I cleared my schedule to get ready for this training camp after the summer, so I can fight you anytime October. You pick the date. Let's get it on. He says you pick the date, Mike. What's the date?
What is the date? I mean, he says I can pick the date. I mean, hold on. First of all, let's talk about this. What did he say? He cleared his schedule for me. Just read it one more time, Lewis.
Mr. Bisping, I cleared my schedule to get ready for training camp after the summer, so I can fight you anytime after October. You pick the date. Let's get it done.
What they fucking do? Oh, I cleared my schedule for you, Michael. It's like, well, yeah. We had a press conference. We sat down. We're going to fight. You don't get credit for clearing your schedule.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. You're supposed to train and get ready for a fight. If you want to train, if you want to clear your schedule, whatever. But you don't get credit for that. But that's great. That's great. So you're going to be ready in October, November? Fine. First date available. Let's do it. I've got no qualms as to when it is. What is it now? What month are we in? May. So I haven't got plans 6 months ahead of me. So anytime, and that would take over any little kind of appearance I had. If I had a fight with GSP, I think I would put that first. So George, listen, give me a date and let's go.
Yeah.
I say, because this is going to be a big fight and big for the Canadians. I say we do it at the Rogers Centre, 65,000 screaming Canadians. I go in, I beat GSP in his home turf. That's what I propose.
Yeah, I'm looking, so it's so far out right now that it's not even on the rumors calendar on MMA Junkie.
Yeah, well, no, it is. It's 6 months away, isn't it? So it is frustrating, but as I say, my knee's kind of been bothering me for a while. I had 2 knee surgeries, and it's still unfortunate. I went for a little run today, and geez Christ, the pain when I was running, every single step hurt. But you just put it out of your mind because it's only pain. Which I guess really I shouldn't do because it's probably a bad thing. Pain is normally a sign of your body telling you not to do something because you're doing damage. But at the same, I like to run. I like to exercise. And I'm in London, and I thought I'd go for a nice run by St. Paul's Cathedral and all this, taking some sights while I'm doing it. It's beautiful. It's a nice run. It was very enjoyable. I did 3 miles and wanted to chop my leg off when I got back because I was in so much pain. So
let me ask you a question. So GSP, like we've been talking about this fight for so long, and it's going to be, probably 9 months or whatever, 10 months between the time that you knew the fight was happening and when it actually goes down. And this is like the source of all of the shit that you've gotten over the past few months, because you really went from, you were one of the most hated guys in the UFC after The Ultimate Fighter to slowly but surely you kind of worked your way into the hearts of the fans. You won the title, and then you were a fan favorite for a hot minute. You were like, holy shit, everyone loves Michael Bisping. Now this thing happens, and you're getting a lot of heat on the internet. Is it the GSP fight that you want, or is it the big payday? Because the question that I really propose is, like, let's say the UFC came right now and says, you know what, we don't want to wait 6 months for you to fight GSP, right? We'll give you $6 million, which is what you would make, or whatever. I don't know what you make on the GSP fight, but let's just say that's the number, and we're going to put you against whoever. Would you take that payday and fight the quote-unquote number one contender and forego the GSP fight, or is that legacy fight more important to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. But and I think it's a bit of everything. You know, I mean, of course, you know, first and foremost, everybody wants money. Everybody's striving to earn more money. Everyone wants more money in everything they do. That's why they get out of bed, they go to work. Do they want to go to work? No, but you're trying to work to, you know, for your security, so you can take care of your family, so you can do nice things, you know, and obviously fighting George St. Pierre would do that. So that's very attractive to me. On top of that, there is the legacy thing as well. It is George St. Pierre. On top of that, and I'm not going to lie, I think it's a very winnable fight. So I'm like, yeah, of course, I'm in. It's GSP. I'll beat him, and I'll earn, you know, a ton of dough out of it. So I'm interested for all those reasons. If the UFC said Yoel Romero, I'll be like, well, listen, let's do the GSP fight, and then we'll do that. I mean, I've got no qualms. I'm sick of answering this question. I'm not asked about fighting Yoel Romero. But we've done a press conference. We've shook hands. We've talked shit. We've gone back and forth and this and that. That's the fight that's happening. So, you know, I'm not even going to talk about that anymore, you know, because everyone that listens to this podcast, we're on episode 10. All we've done is talk about this. So the Yoel Romero thing, everyone knows my thoughts on that. I don't want to repeat myself over and over again.
Mr. Bisping, I clear my entire schedule to get ready for training camp after the summer. So I can fight you anytime after October. You pick the date. Let's get it on.
Do you, when you go home to the UK, do you, because when I grew up right outside of New York in the suburbs, like an hour outside of the city. But when I go home, it's cool for like, you know, an hour or two. But then after a little while, I start to get depressed and I go like, oh man, this is like, I never wanted to come back here. I left for a reason. I moved to New York City to become a comedian. And when I go back, it almost makes me feel bad.
No, I mean, it's kind of interesting because the grass is always greener on the other side. You know, in England, I mean, of course, you know, I'm fiercely British, but, you know, the weather's not very good. And when you hear the weather gets you down and it gets you depressed, and I was there with my children and, you know, they could very rarely play out and there wasn't much to do and all this type of thing. And I was going out to California training, and the weather out there, of course, is fantastic. And I remember one day I was... a friend of mine, Lunchbox, Brian Talbot, we did some jiu-jitsu, and then we went to this cafe by the ocean after training. And we were sitting there, you know, we're by the beach, and bloody people are roller skating past and walking by with the surfboards and this and that. And, you know, the waves are lapping from the ocean onto the beach and whatnot. And I said, wow, this is incredible. What a great life. We've just done jiu-jitsu, and then we walk across the street and we're having lunch by the ocean. And he said, welcome to my life. And when he said that, I thought, wow. I said, geez, that's amazing, because that is his life. And that really got me thinking. And then I thought, well, I've got a work visa. That's already in place. So why don't I just do it? Why don't I make it my life? Why don't I give it a try? So I went home, spoke with the wife. We discussed it. And we were of the thought, well, you know, why not? Let's give it a shot. The kids were still young. We'll move out there. And if we don't like it, we'll just come back. It's as simple as that. So that's what we did, and we kind of went out there on kind of a whim. We just we packed our bags and went a week later. And I said to my dad, I said, Dad, can you handle getting all our stuff moved out to America if you don't mind? So we went through everything and put Post-it notes on what to keep and what to trash and all this stuff. By the way, all the shit turned up in America, and all the good stuff must have got thrown away. So thank you, Dad, for totally fucking that up in the biggest way possible. we were like all so excited when we moved into this house and we're unwrapping everything. We're like, what is this? What is this crap? And yeah, so my dad, God bless him, obviously made some mistakes. But yeah, so we're in America, and then but we're there, as I say, the grass is always greener on the other side. I want to go back to England because I miss it, and I miss the people, and I miss the culture, and I miss everything about it. My wife says I'm crazy. But yeah, no, to answer your question, when I go back to the UK, no, I never get bored. I mean, generally, I'm in London more than anywhere else these days, and London's kind of like New York. There's so much to do. So yeah, no, I miss living in the UK greatly.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know. I've never been. I went to Amsterdam once. That was the closest I was ever. And when there's hookers and weed, it's awesome. But to be honest with you, if you take the
Holland
hookers
is
and
a
weed,
completely separate country on the